Hello, class. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so let us start with your next unit, next part. In the previous class, we have discussed about natural resources, which is from part 1, geography. Today, we will see a portion of history, part 2. Okay, so let us do in this manner, one from geography, one from history, and then the other one from pole science, which is also called as civics. So likewise we will proceed, okay, so that we cover up all the sections. It's not that only in, so that it does not become monotonous. So let us see today what history has to offer us, what history has to give us today. Page number 127, the birth of modern India, the India that we live in today. When, where, and how. Let's see. The present India that we have today, when did it originate, how, and where? Before we start the text, let us see the overview, the preface of the chapter. Page number 127, right on top, there's a green box. As I read out, please follow the text. Till the 1920s, until the discovery of the Indus Valley civilization, Indians as well as the world were unaware of Indian antiquity. What is antiquity, by the way? Mark the word, right? I told you in the previous class also, in the very first class itself, words which are new to you, okay, which you are not used to. Mark those words, get the meaning of those words, write the meaning in the text itself, so that when you go through the text, it helps you in understanding and you don't have to refer back to the dictionary again and after. If you write once, you can, read whenever you read the text, it will be there with you, and you will not have to go back and flip the pages. So circle that word antiquity. We'll come back to it. First of all, let us read the whole paragraph. In fact, one premise on which the British based their rule was that the Indians were not used to self governance. They highlighted the names of autocratic rulers to prove that Indians were incapable of self rule and were used to being told how to conduct themselves. How do you think the British felt when indigenous civilizations were discovered on Indian soil? All right. So basically, up till the 19, it's not 1920, it's 1920s. See, there's a small s, a small letter s along with 1920, which means the date is not specific 1920, but it is 20s, means during that year, somewhere say around 1919, 1920, 1918, that's called 1920s. All right. So until then, I mean, till 1920s, what happened? Until the discovery, this Indus Valley civilization, where as long as it wasn't discovered, and when it got discovered, that is when the Indian as well as even the world, okay, they got to know the differences, the different civilization or the characteristic of India. Until then, people were not aware about it. In fact, we all know that we Indians, we were ruled by the Britishers for almost 200 years, right? We got independence in the year 1947, and they came, these Britishers, they came in India somewhere around 1756, somewhere like that, during the rule of Jahangir. Now, what was the main reason that, if you see, if you look at the map, if you look at the globe, you know, if you see the size, the area of British, or the area of what do you call Indians, okay, Britishers, I mean, the country called Britain or the country called India, they're very small in number. And not only small in number, the people, even the size of the country is very small. The number of population, people living in that area is small, whereas ours, today, the India that we have, that is in fact very small. But the actual India, which is also termed as Hindustan or Bharat, Akhanda Bharat, if you see the actual map of that, it comprises of the modern day Pakistan, even part of Afghanistan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan. These were all part of India. Now the question is, such a big country, such a vast country, okay, India, Britishers, a small country, very few people, then what was the main reason, or what did they have which we did not have? Were they so powerful, or did they have such advanced sophisticated tools, weapons, that they overpowered us, they captured us, they dominated us, they ruled us for 200 years? What is the main reason? One of the reason is mentioned out here in the green box itself. The main reason is that because we Indians, we were not used to self governance. Self governance means, you know, uh, what do you call this? How to do thing, how to manage, you know, how to govern, how to run, how to control ourselves, our act, our behavior. Okay, how to uh, order ourselves, what to be done, what not to be done. We were not used to it. We needed someone else to tell us, do this, do that, sit here, sit there, go there. Someone else we needed. Otherwise, we were just like, even though we had this area, okay, what is inside this area, that was that was non-functioning for us. We made it, we kept it brand new, because when we use it, it will become old, right? So we didn't use it, we Indians. Hmm? We needed somebody to tell us, to guide us, to order us, to command us. And when we told about this thing to them, to the Britishers, about our rulers, about our kings, that, you know, it is our king that they used to do this, they used to tell us to do that, and that is how we used to do, we used to follow. Then the Britishers understood that we people, we the Indians, we don't know self governance, we don't know how to control ourselves, how to rule ourselves, and so we needed someone to rule upon us, to control us, and that is where they took the advantage. And after that, everyone knows what happens. For 200 years, how they treated us, what, how they tortured us, hmm? The type of life we lived, our forefathers, our grandfathers, the misery that the Indians had to undergo under their rule, everybody knows. So now let us see this present India that we have today, that is the country, the place, the society around you. From where did it originate? How? Look into your text. According to historians, the modern period of Indian history began with the death of the last great Mughal emperor Aurangzeb in the year 1707 CE. Underline that. I repeat, this modern history, not modern history, modern Indian history began with the death of the last Mughal emperor, that is Aurangzeb, in the year 1707. Though people from different European countries had reached the Indian soil much earlier, it was only under the successors of Aurangzeb, or you can call them as the later Mughals, that the road to their political, economic, and cultural domination over the Indian subcontinent was paved. Underline, I'll explain you what does it mean. Where am I? Yeah, up till paved. Okay. See, now, you talk about this Britishers, foreigners, outsiders, and it was not only the Englishman, it means the British man. There were also some other traders like the Portuguese, the French, and all. They also came to India for the purpose of trade. They also wanted to control, dominate us. Okay, they came quite a long back. It was not that they came in the year 1756 or something like that, or around this, what do you call, 7. They came around 6. If you see East India Company, I think you have read in your earlier classes, East India Company and all. Maybe that this they came around during this, what do you call, 17th century, which means the period between 1601 to 1700, in between. So during those days they came much before the death of Aurangzeb. Okay, but the book says, even though this European people, so whether they are French people or Portuguese or British or English, I mean, what do you call, Dutch or whatever, they are Europe. They all belong from Europe. Europe is a continent. Okay, so this European people, the people from European countries, they came to our country, India, long before this, long before the death of Aurangzeb. But even though they came long before, they couldn't capture us, they couldn't conquer us, they couldn't rule us. But when the successors of Aurangzeb, successor means after Aurangzeb, okay, the last ruler Aurangzeb, and then after Aurangzeb, whoever was the ruler, next to next successor, one means after me. Suppose after me, the person who is next to me, after my death, after I pass away, the person who comes and sits in the chair, my successor. So The successors of Aurangzeb, it was they who made it, or you can say who made the road for this Britishers, for this outsider that come capture us, come rule us, come sit on our head and be our boss. Okay, I hope you're understanding. It was Aurangzeb's success, or you can say the later Mughals, that they made the way for the Britishers, for the Europeans to come and dominate us. Huh? Dominate us in terms of political governance, dominate us in terms of economic, dominate us in terms of culture. We have to follow their culture, their tradition, even in terms of finance, economy. When it comes of governing the system, they will make the rule, they will run the country. So it was after the death of Aurangzeb, whoever was the king after the death of Aurangzeb, it was they, because of those kings, that the outsiders, the Europeans, the Britishers, they took it as an advantage, an opportunity to come and capture us. Sorry. All right. Next. The process of this domination, as we shall read later in this book, began with the grant of trading rights by the Indian ruler to the European trading companies and reached a high pitch with conflicts among them for supremacy in trade and politics. After successfully fighting a series of battles against their French rivals and some powerful Indian rulers, the British emerged as the dominant power in the subcontinent. All right. Now, how did this the Britishers start dominating us? Okay, that the answer for this question. This domination, it first of all started with a permission. Domination started with a permission. They first came to India not to dominate. Their intention, or maybe they didn't they didn't show to dominate us. At first, they projected that they just need a little bit of permission from our then rulers, okay, the kings, those who ruled during those days, for doing trade, for doing business in our land. All right, that was the thing that they came for, and it started from there. Later on, gradually, this trading means business, this European business companies, okay, they entered into a kind of a, what do you call, conflict, fight, okay, with whom? With the other European. It was not only one European trading companies, there were many European trading companies who came to India for the purpose of trade. Like one of them was this Britishers, the other one was this French and all, okay, even Portuguese, they also came. So now this Britishers, they wanted that the entire trade, the entire business of India, it must only be dealt with them and not with anybody else. So as a result, they entered into a conflict with their other trade people, with the other trade countries like French, and also some of our Indian rulers. They entered into conflict, and in the conflict, in the fight, the Britishers defeated them. When the Britishers defeated them, they became the boss. They became the head of that particular trade. So that is when they started dominating. Are you getting it? So the process of this domination, that we were under them for 200 years, it didn't happen all of a sudden. Okay, at first they came for trade, for business, and gradually, one after the another, as they kept on defeating their trade rivalries, their opponents of trade, and this is where the rule of domination came. After what happened, I'll end up this class here, because first of all, you must understand that what are we studying, why are we studying this chapter, what is this chapter all about. Because until and unless you understand what are we studying and what is the reason of studying, you will not get that kind of an appetite towards this particular chapter, that interest. You will not develop that interest, you will not develop that appetite, the taste, okay, for this lesson. So first you must understand that why are we studying this lesson, what are we going to learn. We are going to learn something new which we didn't learn in your previous classes. Once you understand this, then automatically you will have that curiosity within yourself to know more and more. All right, so I'll end up out here with this para and the introduction about this chapter. Please go through whatever has been discussed. The remaining will continue in the next class. Study well.